Hello and welcome to next week's lesson on our balanced diet unit, looking at our personal health and well-being. Our outcomes for this lesson are going to involve understanding the difference between micronutrients and macronutrients, and also to be able to describe the components of a balanced diet. So before we look at a balanced diet in more detail, I need to look at and understand the energy equation, and this looks at the amount of energy that comes into the body compared to the amount of energy that goes out of the body. So it compares, and it's different between an obese person and an anorexic person. So an obese person tends to be eating more calories than they are doing exercise, therefore they put on weight. Whereas an anorexic person might be doing exercise, they might not be doing exercise, but they're not eating enough calories, therefore they're not getting enough energy, which may cause them to be drowsy, lose weight, and they feel tired a lot of the time. So moving on to the actual balanced diet and what it consists of, you need to know the difference between macronutrients and micronutrients. Now macronutrients are things on a large scale and they are required in large quantities. So things such as protein, fats and carbohydrates, the body needs a lot of these types of nutrients. They're needed for energy through carbohydrates, for growth and repair through protein. Carbohydrates you get from foods such as bread, and pasta and rice. Fats you get through butter, fried food, fatty meats, and protein you can get through things such as milk, eggs and fish. So all those sort of food types and those nutrients, protein, carbohydrates and fats, are needed in large quantities in order to provide the body with a number of nutrients in order for the body to grow and repair and to give us energy. So those are the macronutrients. Now, micronutrients are needed in small quantities, but they're still needed by the body, they're still needed in terms of a balanced diet, but they're needed in small quantities. So this consists of things such as vitamins and minerals. These are needed to maintain good health, they're needed to help us with our immune system, and they can be found in lots of varieties of different food, such as fruit and vegetables, and different types of meat as well. So that's the difference between macronutrients and micronutrients. The previous slide we looked at macronutrients and micronutrients. I'm just going to go through those in a little bit more detail now. So the first macronutrient is carbohydrates, and these come in the form of complex carbohydrates such as rice, simple carbohydrates such as fruit, and the main function of carbohydrates is to give the body energy. So sports people and athletes would need to have a lot of carbohydrates in their diet in order to give them energy. If you're not an athlete, then normal people would need carbohydrates in their body in order to perform their daily tasks at work. The second macronutrient is protein, and this comes in the form through eggs, for example, and through meat. And the main function of protein is to help repair and build muscle. So bodybuilders and weightlifters, once they've had their workout, they would eat lots of protein in order to rebuild their muscle so it becomes bigger. Fat, our third macronutrient, their function is to give us stored energy, but also insulate the body. Now, it's important that we don't eat large quantities of fat because that's when you become obese. So you still need some amount of it because it does have its functions and you do need it as part of a balanced diet. Micronutrients, which are required in small amounts, through things such as minerals and vitamins. So minerals such as calcium, iron, sodium and potassium, they have their function in the body as well. So for example, iron, that helps us produce hemoglobin, which is required by the blood in order to transport oxygen around the body. Fibre as well is also important as part of a balanced diet, and you can get that through eating cereals and whole grain, and that helps with the digestive system. Okay, so vitamins. There are a number of different types of vitamins that you can get by eating different types of food. So for example, vitamin A you can get through things such as cheese, carrots and milk, and their main job is to keep the skin healthy. Vitamin B you can get through whole grain nuts and through meat, and they help release carbohydrates into the body. Vitamin C you can get through foods such as fruit and vegetables, and they help with healing and infection. Vitamin D you can get through fish and eggs, and they help absorb calcium into the body, and they help give you strong bones and teeth. And vitamin E you can get through eating things such as cereal and whole grain and vegetable oil, and they also help with growth in the body. Okay, so the final nutrient that you need to be aware of is also needed as part of a balanced diet is water. So water, it consists of half of the average person's body weight. The main function is to prevent dehydration, but it also helps transport nutrients, waste and hormones around the body, but also helps control temperature. Some sports you lose water and you lose weight, so you need to get or drink more water whilst you're participating in sport in order to rehydrate your body. You tend to lose water through sweating when you're playing sports, through urine and through breathing. So water is a vitally important part of a balanced diet which you also need to have on a regular basis.